I really don't understand when people say I'd rather have boneless chicken or I'd rather have chicken with bones in it. Even when you bite into the chicken, you're going to get the chicken off of the bone. So there's no point in ordering it with bone in. Like, that's just like, so there's a difference. You're not eating a bone, right? So it's not going to be boneless chicken. So how y'all doing? How's everybody doing? I'm gonna be talking about all of the anime categories that I have for my anime list, and I've made sure that I've thought about this through a past 6 years. I've been doing nothing but collecting anime information and a whole bunch of stuff that comes to my list so that I can keep it so I can actually talk about it with anybody I want to. Because there's people that'll just watch an anime and forget about the entire thing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about my list. First one, I'm going to be talking about strategy. And when I mean by strategy, I mean usually it could be militarized. It could talk about how to fight or how they explain what goes on in the show and how they handle a situation strategically, right? The best animes that I have seen do this, and there's 3 that I'm gonna do for each of the categories. The number 3 spot I'm gonna have to go for is Hunter x Hunter. Now, if you think about it, for the nin abilities, it is so complicated to talk about. It's just as bad as talking about curse technique and stuff. For nin ability, there's so many situations where you have to make contracts, you have to make this, that, and the third happen, and the smallest person can beat the strongest person in the show, and if they know how to use the right strategy. Sometimes you are completely helpless in whatever situation, just like Gon and Killua was when they got abducted by the Phantom Troop. There was a scene in the staircase where they had to use so much damn strategy that it took, like, I don't know how much of 2 episodes or something. The second one obviously is Attack on Titan. Now, when you think about all of the stuff that has transpired throughout the 5 seasons, I think, yeah, it was 5 seasons, I think. It is such a strategical, I don't even know if that's a word. They have it's like I said, it's militarized, right? So they have people do this, people do that, and they have a set plan of how they're going to take out a Titan, how they're going to handle their government, how everything is going to happen with whatever goes on with the conflict. And for number 1, obviously has to go to Death Note because of how long it ended up dragging out for all of the situations that they go through. Light literally strung along the entire police department in the entire world, basically, or Japan, I should say. As soon as he got the Death Note, he started testing it and he started making it to where I can outsmart anybody and I can off anybody if I need to. So this dude is the ultimate mastermind when it comes to it. There might be other people, and if y'all know any other people, y'all go ahead in that comment section below. The second category I'm gonna be talking about is, now, when I talk about animation, I mean the fluidity, I mean the colors, I mean the brightness. Everything has to just pop to you whenever you see this show. And these 3 are, you know what, I'm gonna just talk about 1. The third one, I'm gonna just say it's Your Name, right? This is an unofficial number 3. I really loved Your Name. I've been watching slice of life animes and romance animes and stuff. And when I tell you, I did not expect anything other than me liking the story. I really enjoyed the animation, like the sky falling, what was it, the meteor or something? Yeah, the meteor that happened when it screeched across the sky. Everything that goes on with this entire movie is absolutely insane. When it was like some of the best visualizations you'll ever see. And the second one has to go to Attack on Titan, and that's because it shows exactly what you need in that moment. It's not nothing insanely great, but it is some of the best animation you'll see in a show. It's so detailed, and you could tell it was to a degree computerized to where it was visually appealing to whoever watched it. You know, like when Eren was staring in the ocean, he was looking out and it was amazing to see. Number 1 obviously has to go to Mob Psycho. In my opinion, Mob Psycho is the best animation I have ever seen. This is why I can hold Studio Bones to such a high degree. I know Studio Mappa go crazy, but Studio Bones went insane all 3 seasons for Mob Psycho. Like, I've never seen an anime to where the animation, it basically is the all-encompassing of the one character. Mob goes 100%, and past that, his animation just gets crazy. Like, some of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in terms of animation comes from that show. And for the third category, I'm gonna be talking about the fight scenes, you know, action in an anime. I'm talking about, once again, fluidity. I'm talking about the impact of each punch that happens. And there is no better anime that has done this other than these three. Number three, I gotta say it, JJK Season 2 was something special. Like, when you talk about Megami's fight, when you talk about Megami's fight, when you talk about Itadori's fight, you talk about all of these fights, you cannot say anything less than spectacular when it comes to the fight scenes. They are so fluid. When Itadori fought Mahito, that was some of the best hand-to-hand fighting I had ever seen. This dude is transmorphing into all of this different stuff, and Itadori is just dodging all of this. Bro, Toto, insane. Like, he... And the Gojo fight, I can't even talk about how amazing the Gojo fight was. And for number two, I'm gonna be talking about God of High School. God of High School was so amazing to me. I didn't expect to see a hand-to-hand combat fight in anime to that degree. I didn't know that they were going to even mention Sun Wukong in this, which made it even more interesting for me. They made sure that the arena fighting, there was some choreography, real life choreography, along with a power-up set, but it wasn't overwhelming each of the other ones, you know? Like, it's some of the most creative fighting that you'll see in anime. And number one, I have to go Baki. I'm gonna be honest with you, I just love Baki mostly because of the impact of how long Baki has been around. This anime, I think, was the first time that you actually sat there and you heard a narrator talk about the impact of an attack. When I first started seeing this, it started to give me goosebumps. And speaking of goosebumps, these animes are the best when it comes to... Number three is Dragon Ball Z. Now, I can only say Dragon Ball Z because it was basically the father of me getting goosebumps from watching something animated. I loved when Goku ended up turning Super Saiyan for the first time. I loved when Vegeta ended up dying because Majin Buu in the Buu Saga. The scene where Vegeta ends up going Royal Blue. Dragon Ball was just the father of all of it for me. For number two, I'm gonna have to go ahead and say Devilman Crybaby. People would not expect for me to say this, but I'm not talking about the old one, and I've heard the old one was amazing. I'm talking about the most recent one. That storytelling was something else. I didn't even expect it to be a biblical standpoint that they were talking about. All of it for the main antagonist to be the best friend, that gave me some of the best neck hair standing up scenes I didn't expect that, bro. That was absolutely amazing. And number one is My Hero Academia, and I don't know why, but this anime can do it for me when it comes straight up goosebumps. This anime is just amazing to me. I will watch AMVs about this anime. I will sit there, and it is something that you can easily resonate with, like being the small fry and actually being able to beat these very strong people and overcome your obstacles. I'm gonna get a little lighthearted with this one. So number three, I am going with Konosuba. I recently finished this show. When I tell you this show is hilarious, it is some of the funniest I've ever seen, bro. He gets stuck with a useless god into another world where you're expected to get compensated for how much you actually did in your past life in your new life. And the fact that he's stuck with the god shows how much funny they're going to be to get their money up. The situations that they get put in are some of the funniest things ever. Like, the crew that he chills with is insane. Like, you got a masochist, I think that's how you say it. You got a girl that is only good for one attack a day. And you got a useless god. Like, you're cooked, bro. The second one has to be Psyche K for me. The situations that Psyche is in for this entire anime is absolutely hilarious. I think that this show is some of the funniest stuff that I've ever seen. Like, this dude does not talk to anybody but he's the most powerful person in the entire world. It's funny how he has to navigate everyone else so he could get to have a final alone time with his coffee jelly. Like, it's hilarious, bro. And the number one funniest anime I have ever seen, one of the most fan service animes I've ever seen, Prison School. Prison School was some of the funniest things I have ever seen. It's been a while since I've seen it. I remember when he was sitting in the lab and his friend told him that I'm a sacrifice for you, basically, so you can get a believable fart noise. Like, he took the microphone and he put it up his butt. And for all of that to happen, he had boo-boo all over himself. It was some of the funniest things I've ever seen. And for adventure, in anime, adventure is some of the best things that you can see. It will show you all different facets of the world of the show. And I don't think that there has been any other anime that does it better than Adventures of Sinbad, which is number 3. I loved that this was the prequel to Magi, and I'm glad that I watched it in order, because I didn't know that it was the attachment to another anime called Magi. It showed how he ended up raiding these tombs and he started getting all of these powers, getting chosen. And he's like, I want all of these powers so I can be the strongest in the 7 seas. And this is why I loved Sinbad's character so much, because it was such a noble thing. Usually when you hear people say this, you think that it was for a bad deal, but they ended up believing him throughout the entire world mostly. Second one that is the best for me is Hunter x Hunter. Now this show is easily the first show for me when it comes to travel and adventure for a show. And whenever I get that feeling about I'm about to explore a new facet of this anime, I feel really good inside. And Hunter x Hunter is the first one to do it for me, which is why I hold Hunter x Hunter in such a high light. There's only one show that does it better, and I think everybody is expecting this show to be number 1 when it comes to adventure. And that is One Piece. The entire thing about being free is such a crazy concept. Like, it's like you would want to be there with Luffy. You'd want to be a part of the Straw Hat Pirates only. Like, no other pirates, just the Straw Hats. And it showed the funny part about it, the craziest parts about all of being a pirate and everything. And One Piece just does it for me. And for my next one, I've recently been watching a lot of slice of life animes and a lot of romance anime, and these 3 are the best ones that I have seen. The best ones I've seen, right? Number 3 is Toradora. I was getting recommended this on my TikTok, and if you want to see my TikTok, it's right there. I don't know, I'm gonna put it right there somewhere. I was recommended Toradora, and I like the storytelling between the two main characters, right? These people were both scary people, one in visually, one actually, right? And the actual one was the girl. They both like each other's friends, so they ended up helping each other, and then realizing that they have a friendship and, more than that, a love in themselves. And I really liked this show. I liked how they started to pull at the heartstrings of the watcher, of the viewer. I really enjoyed it, and that's what leads me to my next one, a 2-way tie between number 1. Hori Maya was absolutely insane. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. And if anybody wants to watch Hori Maya, I will definitely recommend them that show. And if it comes to romance, and once again, for number 1, it has to be Love is War. I love Love is War. Love is War was amazing. I really thought that this show, how hard it is for each person to actually show how much they cared about one another. It was hard to express how they felt without making it into a competition. Who's gonna say I love you first? I loved it, and that was the best part about it. Leading on to my last thing, and there's not many in this one, and I'm gonna talk about sports anime. Was one thing that I did not expect to like. And it was really good. I really liked it. And these 2 are the best ones that I've seen, right? And I've only seen really 2 or 3 if you count Baki. Kuroko no Basket was something different. Like, I didn't expect to catch goosebumps from watching somebody play basketball in terms of anime. Like, that's some of the craziest. The dude, Aomine went into the zone. And they have something called the zone. Like, bro, it was like basically Ultra Instinct, bro. And it was sort of the same thing for Haikyuu too, which is my number 2. Haikyuu is such a great show that it was easy to compare the two when it comes to not only sports, but mentality towards the sport that they play. It's 2 characters and they end up wanting to be the best at whatever, but there's obviously obstacles from their past. And I love it so much. I love these 2, and these are some of the animes that I will recommend for you in each of the categories that I know. If you reach the end of this video, I do appreciate you watching this. This was my first attempt at talking about anime on my channel, and I just wanted to invite you to my TikTok account. I have about 3,000 people on there. Go ahead and see that. Just go ahead and subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification bell so whenever I drop, you know first. This is your boy Metro. It is a work in progress. It's been a while since I said that. Peace and hair grease.